Hello friends, last time I had presented lycopodium, the understanding of lycopodium, delirium of lycopodium and the theme of lycopodium. In today's video, I would be giving or I would be rather presenting a theme of a common remedy which you are using in your day-to-day practice, and the remedy is MERC. Particularly the theme of MERC, the mind of MERC, the delirium and the delusions of MERC. Now let us understand these deliriums and delusions and let us use in our daily practice. See, this video is primarily for homeopathic students and practitioners and not for general public. Then, homeopathic medicine is being prepared from so many sources. These are basically ultra diluted substances, actually not substance, ultra diluted preparation. So there is no chemical or no any material substance is there in the homeopathic medicine. So the original or the property of the drug is usually displayed in our drug proving. So now let us go back to the mercury mind. So one of the most angry and aggressive remedy in our materia medica is mercury. So mercury has two type of anger. Number one, the anger of mercury is either towards self or either towards the environment. So there are two rubrics or two variety of rubrics in this aspect of mercury anger. First, I will talk about the anger of mercury on self. So MERC anger on self arises number one because of the foolishness. Anybody or anyone or any person will be angry on self when he commits some mistake or some foolishness. So Mercury has a tendency to commit some mistakes. So because of that, he gets angry on himself. So there is a rubric anger himself with. So there is a rubric anger himself with. Then there is also another rubric biting arms bites his own. He tries to bite his own arm. That means he'll try to, what does arm represent? Arm represents action. Arm represents something which you want to do. Biting arm means restricting oneself from doing anything. So this is again an autoimmune reactivity of mercury. Anger with himself also is an autoimmune rubric. So the foolishness of mercury makes him do all sorts of mistakes. So there is another rubric, mind, courageous, foolish boldness. Mercury has foolish boldness. Danger, no sense of danger. Mercury has no sense of danger because either he is so much daring that he doesn't care for anything else, or either he is foolish, so he does not feel that danger and he goes on doing certain things. Yes, so this is about the anger of mercury on self. Second aspect is the general nature of mercury. So mercury people are generally impolite and insolent. They are very rude, they are very impolite. Don't expect mercury people to be polite personality. There will be a rudeness in the tone when mercury is talking. Just note it down. Also, mercury has a perception that people are very selfish. So even if a person is coming with a pure feeling, mercury will always have a perception that this person is very selfish. So there is a rubric in mercury, cynical. Cynical means a concept or a thought process where a person feels that the whole world is selfish, everybody is selfish. So that is the perception of Mercury. So because he feels that everyone is this selfish, so he becomes discontented with the environment, and because of this discontentment with the environment, he again goes into a state of anger. Okay. So this anger towards the environment is one aspect. Yes, I forgot to say one thing. The anger on self in the Mercury goes again into a higher plane where he goes into a state of self disgust, extreme self disgust in Mercury. So there is a rubric: disgust has no courage to live with himself. There is a disgust with self and there is no courage to live with self. Single remedy is Mercury, and there is another remedy in this rubric. Second aspect, yes, the anger towards other people. So one of the most angry remedies, Mercsol, very aggressive, very impolite, very insolent, very rude remedy is Mercsol. Why this Mercury is so much angry towards other people? Why? That is the question. Mercury is angry towards people because he receives this aggression from the parents. Parents has given a genetic message to the child that in order to survive, you should be aggressive. That is your only survival mechanism. If you are not aggressive, you will not be able to exist in this world. Because the environment was inimical to parents also, so they gave a message to the child that in order to survive, you have to become aggressive. That is how the Mercsol is tuned. The more the anger from the environment, the stronger is the genetic message to the child to become more aggressive. See, if there is angry, if the parents are angry, then the same reaction will be given to the child. If there is out of proportion anger or rage in the parents, then the child may have the tendency for hysteria or insanity or a state of delirium. So we have rubrics. Yes, along with anger, there passes one more thing is the suspiciousness. Parents pass a message to the child that you have to be very careful to the environment. You have to be very alert. So suspiciousness is also passed on along with anger. So Mercsol is, so there is, with this perception, when the child comes into this life, naturally the environment will be inimical to him. He will also have the same perception. So there is a rubric. The journey of anger starts with discontentment. So discontented with the surrounding. This is one rubric. Injustice cannot support. Mercury people, they hate injustice. They cannot support. Then starts with irritability. They will perceive insults from everywhere. Irritability from insults. Then another beautiful rubric, suspicious enemy considering everybody his. Suspicious considering everybody his enemy is Mercson. This irritability in the Mercury or this anger in the Mercury, it goes into a state of anger and rage. The more syphilitic version of rage is hysteria, mania, and insanity. Okay, so the more syphilitic version of this anger or rage is hysteria, mania, and insanity. So the anger reaction of Mercury is Mercury cannot control his anger. If something clicks Mercury, then and then only he will react. He will not be able to control his anger. So there is a rubric for this: anger beside oneself being. Beside oneself means not able to control. Anger combing on, cleaning on. Anger combing or cleaning on. For small things, Combing is a small activity, cleaning is a small activity. In that also he is getting angry. So the sensitivity with respect to anger is so high in Mercury. Aversion to certain persons. This comes from the negative perception given in the genes for the environment by the parents. Aversion to certain persons. Again, another reason why Mercury gets angry is because of libertinism. When a Mercury is deprived of the freedom, then he goes into a state of libertinism. And again, from libertinism, feeling of injustice, discontented, everything is linked. So, with not getting freedom or liberty, he goes into a state of anarchism and defiance. So, from here, tendency to contradiction starts. So, here, Mercury, there is a disposition to contradict, then there is intolerance of contradiction in Mercury. So, another rubric is directly defiant, then anarchist. These are the rubrics of Mercury. The defiance, the defiance comes inbuilt in the genes. So from the beginning, Mercury children are disobedient. The rubric is disobedience children in. Also, Mercury is very much contemptuous, dictatorial, censorious. Censorious means always criticizing others, always criticizing. Even when he enters into your clinic, he will be very aggressive and he will be aggressively criticizing you. Also, there is a tendency to show contempt. Whenever this Mercury patient will come to your clinic, he will complain, what clinic you have made. In that way, there is contempt also, and then there is complaining also. Sir, you should improve, sir, you should improve. So that complaining you will receive, no matter what is the status of your clinic, he will always criticize. There will be always complaining. And always on the toes, wants to fight. There is aggressiveness in Mercury. Also, he becomes hateful from anger. From anger comes hate. So, whoever just insults him or whoever does anything, he starts developing hatred. So, hatred of persons offended him. There is this rubric in Mercury. So, when there is hatred, when there is a feeling of hatred, how would you react? You will try to just repel everything. You will just try to, knock everything down. So, the mood is always repulsive. So, here, mood repulsive. After that comes the tendency to impulse. So, the impulse also, there will be violent impulses. Impulse to stab others, one rubric. Impulse morbid to do violence. So, there is a morbid tendency to do violence, to harm others. See, harm can be done physically also, and harm can be done by your speech also. You speak so bad, you criticize so bad, so that is also a violence by speech. Then with impulse comes the tendency to do something, that is kill desire to. Kill desire to contradicts the person, that contradicts her. Any person who is contradicting Merc soul will be impulsively, killed or attacked by Mercury. See, this attack again could be physical also, and this attack could be verbal also. Killing means, damaging somebody's reputation. This is also a killing. So, This is like, this person has not treated me well, now I'll damage his image. So these people, they are actually, mentally very aggressive, and this is a very syphilitic thing. Kill desire to, sudden impulse to kill for a slight offense. This is Mercury. Just for a slight offense, that person will speak blah 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 and damage, in front of people. He will speak aggressively and damage the whole thing. He will damage the entire atmosphere. So that is Mercury. This impulse again comes from a basic feeling that everybody is enemy. See, you are a doctor, you are trying to help, but for some reason he will be offended, and then he will treat you as if you are an enemy. See, this is the thought process of Mercury. And if this is the thought process, how the system will react? A person aggressively responding to every situation, what is going to happen? The immune system also will react aggressively, because defense will become more prominent. And what will happen if the defense becomes more prominent? There will be allergies. There will be hyper gamma globulinemia. So the immunoglobulins will increase, IgE will increase. So the defense system will work highly reactively. The defense system will become highly reactive. Because there is aggressiveness, so tendencies of ulceration will be seen. So again, the anger and the ulcer, all painful pathologies of Mercury because of that aggression. Lot of inflammation you will see in Mercury. Coming to the aspect of delusion. So suspicious, considering everybody an enemy, and what does enemy will do? Will try to harm you. So there comes a delusion from this. Delusion, injury about to receive injury. One. Delusion, enemy everyone is. Everybody is an enemy. Delusion, enemy surrounded by enemies. So this is the perception of Mercurius. This delusion becomes a deep-seated fixed thought process. With this delusion, Mercurius can go into a state of either delirium or mania or insanity. So in mania, again Mercurius will be very angry. Mania, rage with. Delirium, maniacal. So here mania is one-sided reaction of aggression to everything. What is mania? Mania is one-sided reaction. Only one emotion will be prominent. So the reactivity is only for one thing. What reactivity? Anger. Anger, what? The high intensity of anger, that is rage. So high intensity anger will be shown every time for small things. This is mania. Then regarding delirium, delirium, raging, aggressiveness. Delirium, scolding everybody. Mercurius father will be scolding the kids. Mercurius teacher will be scolding the children in school. Will be hitting them badly. Then delirium with shrieking. Out of aggressiveness, he will scream and shriek. That is Mercurius. So insanity also in Mercurius is very violent. So insanity violent is one rubric in Mercurius. So what Mercurius will do? This is the reaction. And so what Mercurius will do? So Mercurius will take revenge by insulting and becoming malicious. So there is a rubric: malicious, insulting. Slander disposition to, criticizing others, damaging the reputation, slander disposition to. Some people are there who have this tendency to do. So I feel pity for them. Slander disposition too. Delusion nose takes people by the nose. There is a beautiful delusion in Mercurius. Delusion nose takes people by the nose. Meaning of this delusion is Mercurius is very dictatorial. Taking by the nose means trying to control or trying to be dominating. So Mercurius is dictatorial, and this is the meaning of this delusion. Nose takes people by the nose. Sometimes Mercurius also goes into a state of non-reactivity. During this state of non-reactivity, we have few rubrics. When the environment, till the time when Mercurius is fighting, it is fine. If the environment is still overwhelming, then the perception of Mercurius will be, the environment will be perceived as hell. Delusion, hell, torments of hell without being able to explain, suffers. So Mercurius is a feeling that he is suffering in a situation which is hell like, and he is not able to say anything. So in the extreme state of very dominating environment, Mercurius will feel like that. So from this, the phase of non-reactivity will be seen, and there is a beautiful, very nice delirium in Mercury. Delirium puts stones in mouth. Delirium puts stones in mouth means just trying to stop the communication. Putting stones in the mouth means just suppressing the own voice. To exercise verbal control in a tense or a difficult situation. When the situation is very difficult and tense, a person trying not to speak, that is delirium, puts stones in mouth. Mercury, single remedy. So that much aggressive remedy and becoming silent is one polarity of Mercury. So this is about Mercury. I hope this is going to help you in your practice. Thank you all. We'll be meeting soon.